Om Shanti. Although I have covered the introduction of Bhagavad Gita briefly in the introduction session of the English part 1, basic and advanced course of Rajyo, I would like to highlight few facts in this recording as well, since it's added to a different playlist. So about Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, okay, we need to know, right, what the name stands for if I want to learn Gita, right? Until now, we didn't even know that, right? We said we have been reading Gita, we have heard many people, but did anyone define, right? Shrimad, what is the meaning of Shrimad? What is the meaning of Bhagavad? What is the meaning of Gita? Okay, God Himself is here, right, to tell the ultimate truth and the meaning of each and every word of the Shrimad Bhagavad Gita accurately. Okay, Shrimad, okay, stands for Shri and Mat. Okay, Shrimad, elevated opinion. Okay, that's why it is named Shrimad. Okay, Bhagavad. Okay, Bhagavad means narrated by God. Okay, God Himself. Okay, Gita, which is which means song or poem. Okay, so it is a sacred song or a poem, okay, in form of elevated opinion or wisdom narrated by God Himself. Okay, as you can see, the praise, slok means praise. Okay, it is praising someone. Who is he praising? Right? It's very, very important that we will come to know. So the whole essence of Bhagavad Gita is the recognition of God. Okay, true recognition of God. If I would like to imbibe Gita, I have to have an accurate recognition of God, which cannot be provided other than God Himself when He comes. That's why right now, Gita that He is speaking, okay, is beyond the understanding that's given in the limited pages, okay, of the current Gita, which is written by human beings. Okay, so very, very important. Just like before we go to the temple, right, we wash our feet. In Raj Yoga Part 1, we had connected feet with the intellect. Intellect is like a feet, okay, like feet. With intellect, right, God is intellectuals of intellect. We can only see God through our intellect, right, which is the knowledge. There is no other way. One opinion, right, that He is giving, and we have to look Him through that opinion, right? So intellect, right, is the important thing here, knowledge or information, okay, that He is giving. Through Him only we can recognize Him, right? So God said, but by the time God comes, our intellect has been completely polluted with many, many false opinions. So that before He comes, before we can study from Him, what do we have to do? Wash it, right? Just like we wash our feet, right, in the temple before we go, right, and worship deities, right, whom we had considered to be God until now, right? But through Raj Yoga Part 1, God is saying, I am not deity, right? We are clear now. So think about it. In here too, we have to wash our feet. That's why that memorial has come in the path of bhakti, right? So through the Raj Yoga Part 1, you are washing your feet, intellect, okay? Through the essence of Gita, which God is narrating, okay? Which we had understood in a wrong way in the path of bhakti. So first we can clearly understand the true essence of Gita, okay? By clearing a lot of misunderstanding, then we can study from God and we can understand Him, which is Raj Yoga Part 2. Okay, so very, very important. If you have not set up the 7-session course in basic an advanced level, please do so, okay, by reaching out. Okay, the number will be given in the description box and also at the end of this video. First, you need to understand the right perspective. If you just listen to this, you will not be able to get it. Okay. Just like Arjun has been narrated this verbally, that is the only format through which we can able to recognize God. Okay, so that's why 7th session to understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, which God is narrating. Okay, and then you study from God, so you can realize that God is here. Okay, it's very immature to make a judgment when we know that we are at the degraded level of Rajo and Tamo intellect. Okay, as per the teachings of Gita itself, even what human beings have written. Okay, so it's very, very important. Unless we spend 3 to 6 months in this study, okay, just like any worldly study we go through, right? Whether it's doctor, engineer, any profession, we complete the study before we make a judgment about the study, right? Similarly, okay, we have to go through at least minimum of 3 to 6 months of the study before you come up with any judgment at all. And then you will be convinced if you have really gone through the study that this is God who is narrating. Okay, so you will stabilize in that one opinion, and you will not have a question of why anymore. Okay, of anything. All right, so let's move on. So we'll go through praise of Gita. This might be a little repetition if you've gone through Rajuga part 1, but some of the souls are not really going through it and have it might be directly accessing this video. So I'm just going to cover it again. Okay, so Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. Why do I need to really understand Gita accurately? Okay, only Gita. Why should I go with the teachings of Gita only, not any other scriptures? Why? Because it is the most popular and first religious scripture. Okay, it's a holy book of Sanatan Dharam. Okay, it's the crown jewel of all the scriptures, invaluable treasure for mankind. Okay, it stands as a mother of all scriptures. Its immense contribution to humanity is exemplary. Okay, not only the Indian scholars, philosophers, and leaders studied and interpreted the Gita, but it has also drawn the attention of well-known theorists, intellectuals, and famous people around the world. Okay, Gita serves as the greatest endowment for society. It is the only text that has direct instructions from the Lord himself, God himself. Okay, no other philosophical or religious work reveals in such a lucid or profound way nature of the self, universe, and the supreme. Okay, but one thing to remember, even though it is filled with truth, okay, the true meaning was not delivered to everyone due to multiple interpretation. Okay, problem which arose through multiple interpretation where Bharatvasis converting into different religions, increasing unrighteousness, peacelessness, corruption, growing population, disrespect of the woman, terrorism, etc. Okay, the true solution for the problems from the Rune Gita is recognizing the true Gita. So there is an article here. Okay, I will put the link in the description box along with the 2 books on the Bhagavad Gita. If you go through it, you will understand many facts that we have really understood based on the Bhagavad Gita are wrong. Okay, that's why we are not able to imbibe the teachings of Gita. So now God is narrating the true Gita. Okay, and Gita, which has been written by Maharishi Vedvyas. Okay, it says Vyasat Prasadat. Okay, Vyasa Prasadat in chapter 18, slok 75. Okay, which we have received this knowledge of the Gita through the happiness of Vyas. Okay, this scripture is not limited or just the means of religious preaching. Okay, like other scriptures. Rather, along with Adhyatma, okay, which means Adi means inside, Atma means the soul. Okay, the knowledge of what is hidden inside the soul. Okay, it also contains a solution to political, social, religious, and personal problems too. Okay, so You can, of course, read this further. But the main thing here is, see, Arjun, who is the great hero of Mahabharat. We need to understand. See, right now, the way we have understood the context is, Mahabharat took place at the end of, during the Dwapar Yuga, sorry, okay, in the physical sense, right? We say, but it doesn't hold the base, okay, of truth, because in the Gita itself, God says, when I come and create heaven, okay, based on the teachings of Gita. And if God would have narrated Gita, okay, in Copper Age, then Kaliyuga would not have come. God is here, right, to establish the world of happiness. There's so many words that conflicts, okay, that statement, which you will understand, okay, once you go through the Raj Yoga part 1 and 2. Okay, so very, very important to understand there was no physical field where God narrated Gita, because God narrates the teachings to all of us. For God, all children are equal, right? So he would treat everyone equally. So he doesn't just narrate Gita verbally to one person. Okay, he will narrate to everyone. He will give equal chance. That's what he is giving right now to all of us. Okay, so very, very important. The way we have understood Kurukshetra, the name are based on the actually the meaning, okay, which has a document. See, the most important thing to understand here, all the names in the scriptures are based on the task performed. Okay, right now, the way we have understood Gita, we have taken like, oh, okay, in physical sense, all the names who are given to the warriors, it just indicates that one person. No, that's not true. Okay, the Mahabharat is happening right now. This is end of Kaliyuga, when God is here, when deities are there, demons are there, three of them has to present and Mahabharata has to occur. God was not there in the Copper Age, so Mahabharat cannot happen at that time. God is here right now, right? So that is the one criteria. Another thing then, as far as the name goes, it's based on the characteristics, okay? And we possess that characteristics at this time, okay? So Ved Vyas had the vision of Kaliyuga, but the way we have interpreted it as in the Copper Age, because he never explained anything, right? So all the explanation in the Bhagavad Gita or even the meaning of Sanskrit is according to the human intellect. Okay, it was not what exactly God had said and then when he had said. Okay, going through Raj Yoga 1 and Raj Yoga part 2, again, you need to spend some time into this to understand, okay, systematically. Just by listening, it will not happen. Interaction has to happen. Otherwise, you will not able to go for long. If we are meant to understand everything by our intellect, God would not have to just come and stay here throughout the time. Okay, so that's why very, very important you finish that 7-session course. Okay, like look at the other names here. This document, I will have it in the description box. Okay, like a Deva, right? We already understood the meaning of Dev in our session, right? Okay, for example, Duryodhan. Okay, so basically one who fight and make others fight the wicked war of corrupt Indriya. Okay, which actually indicates the characteristics of the human beings in this world right now. Okay, and there are many other names like Bhishma. Bhishma means terrible, who spit out poisonous knowledge of scriptures like snakes. Okay, basically those human gurus that misled the intellect of the people, okay, of India in particular and the people of all the religions of the world in general. Okay, in the positive sense also, there are qualities, right? Just like Anand, the one whose qualities are unlimited, that refers to the quality here, right, of God, right? And then we take as far as in the positive sense to Krishna. Krishna doesn't mean like a person, okay, referring to just identity of God, but God's name is Shiv. We understood in Raj Yoga part 1. Okay, all this is new information because truth is being revealed right now, right? We have been tailored to the information that is given until now, which is exactly not narrated by God. So it will take some time. Okay, just hang in there. Finish Raj Yoga 1, Raj Yoga Part 2. Go systematically. Your intellect will tune to understand all these things. Okay, Krishna means one who attracts. Okay, that's what the meaning of Krishna is. Okay, as far as Panda, okay, it is about the wealth of knowledge. Okay, Pandav, a few children of the Supreme Soul who recognize God, believe in Him, follow His instructions. Okay, so it's not just about 5 people. It's about those souls who understand God and follow His directions. Okay, so which is us, right? It's not just about just 5 people, right? You understood in Raj Yoga Part 1, everybody takes God's knowledge, but 450,000, they are the one who achieves that highest destination. Okay. The Vasudev, the donor of the wealth of knowledge in practice, which God is doing, right? Vibhu, we understood in Raj Yoga Part 1, which people have misunderstood in this world. That's why they have considered God to be omnipresent. We in a special way, Bhu in a universal form, okay, who is revealed in a special way. All right. Okay, so there are so many examples in Raj Yoga Part 2. Everything will be clear to you. All right. Right. So main thing is right now, common man is also confused, right? Entangled in the problem instead of fighting with the problems, right? He's running away. We all are confused, just wondering, scattered, not able to land to one opinion, elevated opinion, which is true. Right? God, even Gita has multiple interpretations saying different things. Then how can we say this is narrated by God? Okay, Shrimad means elevated opinion. It has to be one. Okay, so God comes and now tells that elevated opinion, which He narrated it before and now He is narrating. Okay, so God is giving the knowledge of Gita at this time. Okay, through Arjun. Which you will know, God takes divine birth, right? So the person he enters is the Arjun itself, okay? Purely for the mankind of the entire world, all right? Okay, so the last thing is basically how many chapters in Bhagavad Gita and the names of them. Okay, as you can see here, chapter 1, okay, which is named Arjun Vishad Yoga, 47 verses. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, 72 verses. Okay, chapter 3, Karma Yoga, 43 verses. Chapter 4, Dhyan Karma Sannyas Yoga, 42 verses. Chapter 5, Karma Sannyas Yoga, 29 verses. Chapter 6, Atma Samyam Dhyan Yoga, 47 verses. Okay, chapter 7, Gyan Vigyan Yoga, 30 verses. Chapter 8, Akshar Brahma Yoga, 28 verses. Chapter 9, Raj Vidya Raj Gurya Yoga, 34 verses. Chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, 42 verses. Chapter 11, Vishwarupa Darshani Yoga, 55 verses. Chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, 20 verses. Chapter 13, Kshetra Kshetragya Vibhaga Yoga, 34 verses. Chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, 27 verses. Chapter 15, Purushottam Yoga, 20 verses. Chapter 16, Deva Sur Sampada Vibhaga Yoga, 24 verses. Chapter 17, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, 28 verses. Chapter 18, Moksha Sannyas Yoga, 78 verses. Okay, so total it comes out to be 700. But very important thing to know here, God's knowledge is not bound by chapters, okay, or verses. He speaks in an ordinary language, okay? He doesn't speak in Sanskrit. That also you will understand, okay? Sanskrit is created, okay, by the human beings in the copper age, but God narrates in simple language in which everybody can understand, okay? Which is the language of our Sanatan Dharam, okay? Hindi. But if you don't understand Hindi, there is English translation. Okay, for Raj Yoga, so it's important you complete Raj Yoga Part 1. Okay, and then go to Rajoga Part 2 to study the Bhagavad Gita directly from God. He is the one who can take us to the depth, okay, of each and every verse, because he's the author. Okay, all human beings have tried to remember the essence, but could not able to remember everything. That's why there is a gap, right? It talks about the soul, but has not defined what is soul, right? It talks about yoga, but it has not really defined the definition of yoga, and they have not explained why yoga word is used in every chapter. Okay, very, very important, right? So all the, like, it talks about samadhi, but what is samadhi? It has not described it. So human beings with that limited intellect can only include, okay, in the limited sense. And then later human beings have just used their own intellect to explain it. But now God comes and he accurately gives the explanation of each and every word. Okay, so very, very important. Do not leave the study incompletely, coming up with a judgment. Give yourself 3 to 6 months following the systematic discipline to study and then make a judgment. Okay, interaction is must, because God also taught Arjun verbally. So it is also, you, if you go through it through same method, then you will be able to understand this in the right way. Otherwise, you will make, if you just want to do on your own way, then the judgment is very obvious that you will just say that, oh, this is not from God. Okay, very, very important. Now let's look at the number 18. Okay, 18 number stands for 18 Maharathis, 18 Akshoni Sena, 18 Purans, 18 days of Mahabharat battle. Okay, so very, very important to understand. 18 number is a memorial of God's teachings at this time. Okay, from 51 to 69, where God played the role of a mother, okay, through Brahma. That you will understand in Rajoga Part 2, Part 1. Okay, then God will explain in detail in Part 2. All right. And one more thing, see, out of 700 slokas, majority of the slokas are on recognition and remembrance of God. Okay, so very important. We are focusing more on practical aspects. Okay, but we really need to focus on recognition and remembrance of God. So that's why in Rajoga Part 2, Part 1, you will have clarity on this. Okay, I have really getting wrong belief about God. So cleaning is important, right? Very, very important. Just like we had said, cleaning the intellect, washing the feet, right? Washing our feet. So similarly, we have to go through the correct understanding. Okay, so the essence is given. After we recognize and remember God in the right way only, we can able to practice. Okay, that's why in Bhagavad Gita, last 3 chapters are only basically on practical aspects. But initially, God had focused on giving the understanding on soul and the supreme soul. Majority of it's recognizing his elevated opinion. Okay, when Arjun recognized that this is God and this is his elevated opinion, then only he was able to actually imbibe all those practical aspects and have become Nashtamoha. Okay, so we are going, actually we are going in opposite direction now. Okay, we are taking it reversely. We are only focusing on practical aspects and not really looking the aspects of recognizing and remembering God. Okay, so very, very important. Again, go through the study. You will be awakened and enlightened. Okay, best wishes. Om Shanti.